Good morning, afternoon, and evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Sandbox Game live stream for Saturday, November 27th, 2021. My name is Joseph the Vision X Matting, and alongside me, through the magic of the internet, Vacation Man, here to stream with the plan. This is Alex Kamisaze Florez. Alex, how you doing today?
I'm doing great, Joseph. Thank you very much.
Folks, each and every Saturday, right here on YouTube.com, Twitch.tv, Theta, DLive, Facebook, and Twitter.com/The Sandbox Game, we teach you the skills you need to know inside the Sandbox GameMaker. But this week is a special week. We are playing your games that you submitted to the Sandbox Game Jam with 220,000 sand tokens in total prizes. If you're watching live with us today, you have a special opportunity. During this stream, feel free to ask us anything from questions about the Game Maker, maybe our asset creation software VoxEdit, or anything else that you want to know about the Sandbox. We'll answer these questions live as they come in, and for those questions that we cannot answer live, feel free to click on the wonderful social channels in the description below this video and tag us after the show on Discord, Telegram, Twitter, or any of our other great platforms, and we'll get an answer out for you. Of course, if you're watching this later over on YouTube.com, you'll want to join us each and every week on Saturdays starting at 2200 UTC, because those watching live have the unique opportunity to win a Wizzy themed NFT asset usable inside the Sandbox Game right here from this stream. More details on that will come later in the show, so stick with us. But for now, Alex, what's the first thing we got going on this week? How are you doing?
I'm in vacation alpha mode. That's what I'm in.
I like it.
Yeah. Start a vacation, but I'm going to be streaming for about half of it. So we've got tons of streaming planned. We're still putting in the final touches on the schedule, but you can expect to see me streaming right here, Monday, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, probably with Joseph, who's looking all green and sparkly. Oh, good.
Am I sparkly?
That filter. I'm
gonna sparkly.
Oh, now you're a little ghostly.
Well, you're right, Alex. I'll be here with you. I have made plans for, I think, every single session. I'm good to go. I think maybe like there's one where my daughter has a basketball game. So depending on the status of any potential events and interviews, I may not be able to be here for Monday. But if that interview is what it may be, then you can bet yourself, that I will be there for that right away. So, yes, Streamcation, Gattrap says in the chat, absolutely, Streamcation.
Yes, it is a Streamcation. Speaking of the alpha, if you are not registered for the alpha, make sure you do that. Registration closes November 29th. All you have to do is, if you're a landowner, go to sandbox.game, click the register button on the homepage, and the register button over here. This account that I'm on right now does not have any land in it, so it's going to be limited in what buttons you can see. And my other account is registered for the raffle, so it's also limited in what buttons it can see. So I can't exactly show you, but it's something like this. You go to that alpha button on the left side, or click that register button from the homepage, either one. And actually it does show the register button. So if you click the register button right here by my head, it'll let you register, but only if you own land. Yeah, only landowners. But no worries, we do have a ton of other passes, and we're going to be giving out some live on stream here starting Monday. How will raffle winners be informed? There should be a sort of pop-up up here that says now you're able to play. All you have to do is you just go to this alpha page, and once the alpha has started, it will have play buttons along with this stuff, and you'll be able to click. You can click on these now, but the play button will be grayed out. See this play button? Nothing happens when I click it. So if you do win a pass, just check out this page and try to join in and see if it works or not. But there should be a notification on the screen also.
We're already getting some great questions here in the chat, and I'm going to answer a couple of them super quick while we have, a moment here. Merlin's Goat says, no one owns land unless they're a millionaire, and I can confirm that that is not true. If you were with us in August 2020, lands were just $40 or less for
Yeah.
an individual land, something like that. Equivocally, over time, the sand token has increased in price. And because we have pegged our lands at 1,011 sand tokens, you'll have an opportunity to do so. Michael, also over on youtube.com, says, is the Sandbox game an MMORPG? Or MMO, rather. I get that's all they said. So the Sandbox game is MMO in all of its social hubs, and it is developer dependent on if it is multiplayer in all other situations, where each hub is instanced and has a soft capacity for the number of users that are allowed in that hub simultaneously. You'll be able to look at your instance number if you'd like to make sure that you and your friend can be in the same space at the same time. And then beyond that, the experiences that happen depends on what the developer chooses, because each space inside the sandbox, each game that's developed or each social hub that's developed using the Sandbox GameMaker, the developer is always going to be in charge of that, and they load uniquely so that you don't have a cyberpunk, skyscraper world sitting next to maybe a medieval experience, because you want your users to experience that medieval theme. You don't want them to get out of kind of the mindset there. And so it's a little bit different. So in terms of, to follow up really quickly on the price of land, to help you, Merlins, kind of understand how we go about this, currently we're running a game jam, as I mentioned it just right at the top of the show, with the top prize in that game jam, which you can make these games for free with the Sandbox GameMaker. The top prize is 80,000 sand tokens. And when we do a land sale, which we'll continue to do up until the end of next year, roughly, maybe early into 2023, you can purchase a land for 1,011 sand tokens. The top prize for this game jam is 80,000 sand tokens. So you've got more than enough opportunity for those people who are developing those games and learning how to make those games to potentially buy a land with that sand that you can earn, right? Alternatively, if you play in our alpha, if you win an alpha pass here, you're going to earn 1,000 sand tokens just by playing the game during that alpha period. So you just need 11 sand tokens to be able to buy a land, and then you can make yourself a game. But you can absolutely play these games for free at any time, as long as the developer enables those games to be played for free. So all of our in-house games, eventually, those are unlocking for all the users, right? As soon as the alpha has finished, we'll be unlocking those games. You'll be able to play. At the alpha offers tickets, which is an NFT that is a gating system that says you can play in this space. So developers also have that option. They could say, if you own my NFT, you can play in my land the same way you pay for any other game. Or they could have you pay ad hoc, right? Like when you go to an arcade, they could say, hey, I want you to pay $1 to come play this game, or again, completely free. Totally up to them, developer dependent, but there's 166,464 potential experiences you could play inside the sandbox because of all the lands that you see on the map at sandbox.game. So a lot of opportunity for you. And once again, you're playing to earn when you play the Sandbox game through our curated in-house experiences. And you can take that and use those earnings to buy lands, to make games, if that's what you're interested in doing. So, Alex, we have a game coming up here today. Have you made a plan
That's
on that
right.
already? All
So,
right.
so I was asked by Gickus to play their Walking Dead game jam entry, Nuclear Madness, and this actually comes highly recommended by several people in the community. Also, I've been seeing retweets of this saying this is one of the best games they've ever played in the sandbox. So I'm excited here to see what this is like. Hey, great. Lungs are already not happy with me. By the way, this may look like a beer keg. It is just water.
He promises, folks. He promises.
Filtered tap water.
Yes.
Will the size of each game be constrained by the physical size of the land owned? So you can, the game plots, when you go to create a game, you can select the number of lands that it covers. So each game plot is 96 by 96 meters. Relax and wait till you stop. Whoa, interesting. We've got opening credits here. Very cool. And so the size of the land, or the size of the game that you create, you will have to have that number of lands in that configuration in order to play correctly. Okay. Oh, I'm a sort of amorphous blobby thing. Interesting. Hologram Master. Agent Soul, I have received a troubleshoot request from the data mine on Asteroid 507. The trouble is yet to be identified. Investigate what is stopping us from receiving their data, please. On it, sir.
I'm gonna hit questions as we go down here, and if honestly, I'm actually having a good time discussing things with Merlins as I see the replies come in, because this, I tell you, Merlins, let's see, what, August 2020? No, a little before that, like June 2020. I'm the exact same way. Okay, I'm a regular dude working a regular job, having, I think at the time I had like $1,000 invested in crypto. I started playing games that are play to earn, and that started to change. Taking that crypto, investing that crypto, working it in different ways. So when you say I can't spend more than my rent on game assets, I totally get that. And the idea here is that you shouldn't inherently just have to come up front and spend money. We're changing the way that games are played now, where you will be playing for free and earning crypto that can be converted directly to dollars. Now, alternatively, ideally, you love what you see, you love what we're doing here. You take that crypto and you reinvest it in the space, and you buy a land and you start making a game because you're loving what you're seeing and you want to do more of it and get more into it, right? So you'll take the sand maybe that you earn here, you buy a land, you make a game. You say, if you want to play my game, you're going to pay 0.25 sand to play. And you'll know that all these people have been playing to earn. And so they've earned sand, and it's reasonable for them to want to play more games. And they start giving you sand to play your experience, right? So that's kind of the long-term goal in terms of like making this healthy economy based around players that can play for free, earn sand, and get into the space. And then a further question that I see here, let's see. Is the game jam still open? So currently it's not for this one, but we have a game jam about once every 2 months. So the game jam submissions closed, and those are going to be reviewed over the next couple of weeks, because we have these, I mean, see on the screen, these are high detail games. They're a lot of fun. I think if I recall this just from the animated GIFs and videos that I've seen, this is one of the highest rated games that I've seen preliminary English.
Preliminarily?
Preliminarily, thank you. That has been out there, and so it's going to be very interesting to see where this narrative goes. But I'm gonna, unfortunately, we're probably going to have to read it together, because we've been super hot on our questions lately, and I love to answer them so that I can get those with you. So,
so I want to point out something here, that
sure.
It's totally free to play these games right now. Somebody's asking in the chat, how can they play? You just have to download the GameMaker, go to the drafts gallery, and find games to play. There's 300 pages of them right now. There is a good bit of junk on there. We're working on better search tools and filtering tools and rating tools, so that user experience will improve, but it's not that hard to find something interesting. And then you got stuff like this. People who collect the most points will be rewarded 500 USD in SAND token. Deadline December 12th, 12 p.m. UTC. So, yeah, you can win $500 for playing this game and emailing them a screenshot.
Yeah, and it's interesting.
That's totally free to get started.
The closest amount to 60 points, right? So, like, can you go over 60 points in this game? Can you? I mean, obviously, you can probably go under, right?
Yeah.
So if you can get to like 120, it would be like, this is a very like interesting and precise quest that they're requesting from the community. But that's very cool.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you can go over 60 or not. That would be kind of funny. Like, I got 120 points. Oh, sorry, it went too high.
Stago asks, can I only use the presets in the Sandbox profile for my avatar, or create my own in VoxEdit so it shows in my profile? Currently, you'll have those presets as the option. We've got like the different body parts in there, but it's a constantly kind of evolving product in terms of what the avatars are looking like and how they are going. Right now, we're working on integrations to have you have like what CyberKong's VX, right, is like another option that I think they want to have integrated. Is that right, Alex? I want to make sure that I'm not
CyberKong's
saying the wrong thing.
VX is working on a bridge. Yes, Board Ape Yacht Club,
Okay,
VoxEdit, gutter cats, all the gutter creatures.
right,
Because there's more than just cats. They've got
right,
cats
right.
and rats and pigeons. Is it pigeons or
Yeah,
birds?
and birds and
Um,
dogs. Yeah,
birds and
yeah.
dogs. Yeah. So they're working on those. We've got uh, a whole bunch more. I don't even know if I can talk about all of them. Basically, if you the easy way to put it is a lot of projects are interested in having their avatars on the sandbox, and we're working on the
Yeah.
tools to be available for everybody. So while we are directly working with Bored Ape Yacht Club and VoxEdit to create the avatar versions for the sandbox, we are also in that process developing tools that will be available for anybody who's made an avatar project to make a bridge, so that way
Mhm.
their avatars can be used in this game. So
Yeah.
we're doing a lot of stuff.
And then I see another comment that comes in. It says the global game jam happens in January. And one thing that I would say to that is it's likely we would kind of attach to that, but also we're not associated with that because we do our game jams in quite a different way. The global game jam is usually, I think, a 3-day event that happens. And we typically will not have a game jam that is that short. It'll be a longer form game jam, a couple of weeks at least, to say, like, hey, I want to see, users will make custom art. All of the assets that you're seeing here on the screen, these like voxel style assets, are most of them made by the person who made this game or the team that made this game, you know. Um, and then they take those and they apply them inside the game maker to make an experience based on around a theme, right? So that being said, we could have something happen in the same time frame, and that kind of makes sense because we typically do one about once every 2 months. But we'll announce the theme and give people lots of opportunity to make a high quality product in
Nice.
that period. Let's
So
and
Joseph, did you see how this character's put together? Did
no,
you?
I did not. I did
Just
not
fell
see
off
how
the
that.
side. So we're totally equipment.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I thought that's so you get the choice between two different avatars at the start, and so you use
Yeah,
equipment to build up your entire body. I thought that's really unique. I've not seen anybody do that before.
yeah, that's cool. That's
Yeah,
very cool.
I don't know
So
what the
another
battery's
thing
for
that
though.
I see in the chat is that Dr. Word says everyone's still early. The game isn't even out yet. And I agree with that. Often, sometimes we look at the price of an asset or we look at, like, oh, well, if I got in 2020, it was 7 cents for a sand, or 3 cents for a sand, or what have you. And you think, like, oh, I'm late here to this game, right? But when you look at a project that you see that the community is behind, that is going to be built up in a decentralized way over a long period of time, you are very likely way early, I would say, especially with the sandbox because of its decentralized nature, the tools being completely free for you to use. If you're, let's say, you look at that map, right, and you see one of those big logos on the map, understand that one tiny square on that map is 96 meters wide, 96 meters long, and 128 meters tall, right? So just one little square on that would require a good amount of development. And then you've got these big publishers who've purchased all this space. Like, they're going to need help building. So you're here early in terms of that. Those people are going to be willing to have you get paid to build on their space, very likely. If they don't already have a team there, they're going to need a team. And so you're quite early in that. And again, they're going to be able to play to earn or have people paying to play. And then they're going to pay developers to continue to develop that expanding amount of land. So very early, honestly, they're just, the people that you see here on the screen, myself and Alex, we were just here a year ago, right? But we're still quite early on. The development is still ongoing. We're in alpha stage right now, meaning that the product isn't even complete. So you're early and welcome here. All right, let's see here. Can these be played now? Deacon Z Nick, yes. You can, as Alex mentioned earlier, you can play the game now. This game on this screen is inside the Sandbox GameMaker. If you click the gallery section, you can check out. Not all of the games in the gallery are complete. Often, many of them are not. They are usually the gallery is by design there so that you can test your game or have other people test your game and give you feedback on your game, and then you make changes to that. The completed experiences will later be published to the metaverse inside of a land space, right? So that's the intention, to use this as the test. So the game that you're seeing here was submitted for the Game Jam. So it is, in a sense, a test. It's not on a land, it's not minted yet, but it is an experience that you can play, and it is, according to the developer, a complete experience. So if you want to see kind of the best of the best, go look for games that specifically say Game Jam attached to them, and they're much more likely to be completed and great experience.
All right, so there was a code on the floor: 5, 3, 1, 7. We got to guess the last digit there because it was covered in goo. Let's go with 2. Is that it? Nope, I guess not. Whoa! Oh no!
Gotta hack the mainframe. Wait, you gotta get through all the text prompts and get beat up?
Well, I didn't realize enemies were coming. So one thing I'd suggest, if you spawn enemies as a surprise, have a sound effect. There's like a da-dun sound effect for like combat. Yeah. So if you have like a surprise like that when you can't see, so people don't get stuck in dialogue boxes.
Yeah. Izzyology mentioned this on YouTube, and I think this is a great point. Apparently, pressing the first digit every time might have been correct. Let's see. So Izzyology says you can also create to earn as well.
That's what I do.
I'm learning VoxEdit so I can create assets for the Sandbox game and hopefully get sand so I can reinvest in land. And that's a really good point, because you will have land developers, game makers, creators out there who don't want to make all of these assets. And that is, again, often the case. We've seen teams that have won these game jams, like teams of 4, where one person's whole job is just essentially script writing. Another person's whole job is just marketing the game. Another person's whole job is creating the assets, and then one person puts it all together inside the game maker, right? And so if that is the case, then that team then ended up winning first place, and they split that prize. And each person, at the time, US dollars value, they earned like $37,000 or something like that weekend. If they just held those sand tokens, of course, that would be worth more now. But as you do, you got to live, right? You got to pay the bills. So they probably converted some of that, kept some of that, reinvested it in the lands so they can build those products, right? So let's see.
I think I broke it. I think that combat interaction, I broke it. Because the laptop won't turn on anymore. All right, we're going to reset it real quick because I have a feeling I know what happened there. Because this platform, I'm pretty sure, is supposed to move across here, and it's not doing that. So I'm a little stuck. But no worries. We didn't get very far. We're going to just restart it and speed run through what we were doing already.
So I'm going to leave, once again, an advisory here for those viewers who are watching over on Facebook.com. Unfortunately, there are a lot of scam posters over there on that platform. So if you see any posts here today that say, hey, if you give us ETH, we'll give you more, it's not going to happen. Don't ever do that. That's not us, and we don't give out sand. We only give out sand, and when we do, we never ask somebody to give us any in order to do that. So
yeah,
Mr. Brown asks, hi, do I need a good PC to play? Not really. Your PC could be pretty average, honestly, and it'll work great. The only issues we've seen in the past would be with that's so cool that you're just kind of like running around grabbing that equipment right away. That's as like a nothing kind of it makes me feel very like it's all super techy or like super kind of ethereal. But yeah, you don't need a great PC to play. My daughter has played with a laptop that was like $500 in today's market, like a year ago, and it worked great. There. So And it's getting more optimized over time as well, with our long-term goal to be able to have this function on a phone. So just keep that in mind.
Yep.
Got a problem every time I play my game, it shuts down in studio. Proj, I would say search for support on that in the hashtag Game Jam section of the Discord channel, because there's probably going to be a user that could see that first 5 seconds of your game and go like, hey, you have this error in like the way you set it up to start. I saw a similar problem with a user just about a week ago or so, where they accidentally coded in something right at the beginning, and this is a no-code software, so it's really hard for you to notice this. But they programmed in something that instantly killed them when they spawned, and so they were just like, and then it would crash because it was doing too much work. Let's see. Merlin's Goat, can you guys tell who are the landowners who bought for gameplay to improve the game versus crypto traders here for the flip? I feel like many holders are not game players, just mega crypto traders. Merlin's, you can sort of, yeah. When you're on the page at sandbox.game, you'll see that some of the tiles are white. And those are tiles of land NFTs that are available for sale right now. You'll also notice that most of those squares are not. Most of those squares are not for sale. I would say probably 80-90% of all of the space in the sandbox is not for sale. And people are not really looking to flip them. And they are actively, individuals developing. The big tiles, those people are probably holding for a very long time and seeking out help. And that's what I was talking about. If you are an artist, if you are a creator, you may be looking to those companies who have the big tiles and saying like, hey, what kind of projects do you have going on right now? Do you need assistance with those projects? Be more than happy to help. Here's my project that I worked on for a game jam. If you like what I'm doing, I'll build something for you. And it's very easy to see that you could be working literally in making games like these just by knowing. Let's see here. Where do I go to stake sand? Greenview Media, you can stake sand right now at staking.sandbox.game. You will need an equal proportion of sand and Ethereum, and you'll need to have converted those in the Uniswap V2 pool. I want to say something that's interesting, by the way, that happened just yesterday. Alex, and you may not have heard about this, but this is extremely interesting. So you know how the Sandbox is looking to move over to the Polygon network, right?
Oh, yes. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's a question. That's a question for you.
I thought it was rhetorical.
No, yeah. So yes,
yes, I know.
Yes, that is happening.
That is happening indeed, yes.
So
it is imminent.
There was a poll yesterday in the Uniswap governance where Uniswap, as a people who own the Uniswap token, were asked, should we move Uniswap to Polygon? And by an overwhelming majority of over 7 million votes to 110 no's, it is yes.
Wow.
They're going to move Uniswap to Polygon.
That is, I've never seen a bigger landslide in any voting for anything. That's like they should have just done it without asking kind of vote.
Well, right. But, that's how governance works. That's how crypto works. We ask the community, what do you want to do? So with that in mind, it's interesting because I'd like to see, and I'm not sure how it's going to work, but I'd like to see how the pool transition moves, because if the Uniswap V2 pool moves to Polygon, then it's possible that our community members may not have to take everything out and transfer it over to continue to stake. So I'll try to keep you guys updated on this information as I get more, because of course you never know how long it's going to take to move their multi-billion-dollar network over to Polygon. But super interesting that those two things are happening at the same time, because the Sandbox is already working on migration, and now Uniswap is going to work on migration over to. And so it could be a very smooth transition for all of our users, and it's very cool, very interesting. Let's. Danny Morales says, send an alpha pass. Danny, join us after the alpha opens on Monday.
There we go.
Starting at 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 p.m. New York time.
Oh, these guys hit hard.
3 a.m. 3 a.m. London time. We'll be live. We'll be live and we'll be giving away alpha passes for that during the week as we go live. We've got different things planned all week long, different ideas. Some of those being interviews, assuming that those individuals are available. We'll leave those as a surprise though until they are confirmed.
This appears to be at least a 2x2 based on the distance fog. You see the faraway items. This could even be a 3x3 or 4x4. It's kind of hard to tell, just based, on that. When something is a whole 4 lands away, you can't see any detail on it, and I can still see a little detail on these blocks. So I'd say at least 2x2, could be larger.
It's a great question too, because you will be surprised the first time you go into a single 1x1 land. And if you're using the game maker, feel free, just open it up, because I shocked myself just opening the game maker and saying I want to load a 1x1 land, which is the smallest possible NFT you can buy for lands, and it ends up being a huge game. Compared to some other platforms, we're talking about 30 times larger amount of space to work with than similar platforms on the blockchain, right? And then on top of that, you can build up to a 4x4, and then it becomes like really massive and almost daunting how much work there is to be done. And then you think about the fact that the sandbox game itself is 404 lands wide for the entire map, 404 lands vertically. So you've got 166,464 games or experiences that could be built in these 1x1s if you wanted to. And it's like, there's going to be a ton to do when the metaverse launches. A lot of reason to see millions of players coming in. And once again, kind of to the point of being here early, last I heard there was about 350,000, maybe 400,000 registered sandbox addresses now. So you're still pretty early, like real early. The original sandbox game that was made for mobile was just a 2D game, and it had 40 million downloads. So you would imagine how many players may come in once they realize that they can play a video game, earn money. They don't have to pay anything. You know what I mean? Like the amount of people who will be playing the sandbox game long term, I think is going to be extraordinary. Yeah, Mr. Winning 247 says, so getting overwhelmed by myself with my land isn't odd. And I would say, yeah, it's not really that odd because they're huge, right? So like the question, like that's why I mentioned last week, what I like to do when I'm planning my game or planning my experience is just like open up a notepad document or a Word document or something and say like name of game. What do I need to make this happen? I need this and this and this and this and this, right? And to go from there. And you slowly break down piece by piece what you need on paper so that what steps you need to go back through. You won't miss anything, and it's much harder to get overwhelmed. Let's see.
Oh, it didn't activate the first time.
Clara Satya says, the sandbox. When will the sandbox launch beta? So the alpha test will actually be the first experience you have to start playing immediately. Whether you pay or you receive, whether you receive an alpha pass or not, which can be received for free in lots of different ways. And we're going to continue to do giveaways on Twitter. We're doing stuff here on live streams like these, that sort of thing. That's going to be kind of the soft launch of the sandbox. And so you'll have the ability to play. Some plans that we have had for a while will be like in the social hubs as you're working and hanging out and doing things with other people. You can engage with our ambassadors as you see them. Ambassadors may be doing giveaways at the time. And so you're going to have a lot of opportunities for different ways to earn already, whether you have an alpha pass or not. And then it's going to step out of that season 1, which is going to be about a month, or season 0, as we have called it sometimes. So this alpha period, we're going to finish that up in about 30 days, and we're going to get to work on the next piece, right? And the next kind of rollout and the next feature. What I would consider to be the beta, as you described, is probably going to be when user-generated content rolls out. And that's got a little ways to go, but not that long. It's actually pretty close. When I'm looking at the calendar now, it's way sooner than you think. Merlin says, can you bring a Minecraft world into this? Sort of, yeah. Minecraft is kind of has an unlimited build distance, so that's something to consider. But there have been people who have imported Minecraft assets directly. One thing to note is while it looks similar to Minecraft, you can see that like the hexagonal rings that Alex just walked through there aren't just blocks, right? In Minecraft, they're really just raw blocks and nothing's ever pitched at angles or any of that sort of thing, right? So when you build with VoxEdit, you have those voxel based things, which is like the raw squares you work with. But then you can take those and using our rigging tools inside VoxEdit, you can adjust them and like work them on angles to build things that look basically like spheres if you wanted to, just paying attention to the number of kind of polys that you put onto an asset. Like this, I kind of already know what's going to happen with this big thing up here, but it's super cool. Um, but all of these are built differently. So yeah, you can bring Minecraft assets in there, but it may look a little bit out of place depending on your style. You could of course stick with like pure, voxel style, but it may look a bit out of place if you make other assets that have these kind of subtle angles to them. Just throwing that in there. But in order to do that, you use a couple of different tools, and you'll want to ask again more about this on Discord, on how to import Minecraft stuff, if you like, because we've seen it, like a castle or something. If it's pretty simple, you can import it right away. Let's see here. How big is the avatar in one plot of land? Can I make a decent sized game in one plot, or will I need multiple land? So an avatar is 2 meters tall because people are, right? And the plot of land is 96 meters wide, 96 meters long, and 128 meters tall. If you count how far you can go into the earth. So you can absolutely make a decent sized game in a single land. We've seen fantastic games be made inside of a single land.
I got zapped.
Ring-a-ding-a-doo says, nice name. Also, what's to stop people copying other folks' designs and selling those? Well, as with any kind of self-governed platform, you will have the opportunity to moderate these as we get further on. Currently, if you have a situation where somebody copies your materials, then it's very easy, or you can report it to any of the staff at the sandbox, and we can work that out. We can literally go in and say, hey, this asset was a duplicate, delete it forever, and take it off of a profile. But that's not ideal. We don't want to do that forever because we want to make sure that you can trust that the platform is governed by the people. So as we go along, as time goes further away from the alpha and that sort of thing, you're going to have options to be able to say, hey, that's a duplicate, and I'll put my sand on, right? I'll put like a quarter of sand or something to say that that's a duplicate asset. And then other users can come by as part of that governance and say, you're right, it is a duplicate asset. Your original was made, November 27th, 2021, and it's now January of 22. And so that's the duplicate, not yours. And then the community will kind of take that off of the platform. And then those people who contributed those sand tokens, when it's proven to be true, get the reward. And then the minting cost would be the reason why a user wouldn't want to keep submitting duplicates, because it costs too much to have the governance community come through and go, wait a minute,
Yeah,
Um,
and it's going to be the catalysts and gems that we use to power up items are going to be hard to come by. Like that, you have to earn those through either through staking or through gameplay. That there's going to be mechanics to get them, and they're not going to be cheap. So you can't just go and buy the resources to make items powerful and useful. I mean, you can, but it's not going to be worth it to buy it just so you can mint a duplicate item. You're going to want to actually put creative effort into those things. So while on Polygon, minting will be basically free, the gems and catalysts that you use are a valuable resource that you're not going to want to waste on an item that's just going to get banned because it's copying somebody else's work. There's so many artists out there who are looking to make cool stuff. Utilize them. Don't copy their stuff when you could have somebody make something cool and end up with a lot more profit off of it.
So Sai over on YouTube says, why Ethereum blockchain? If I earn $10, I have to pay a transaction fee over $50. Well, Sai, I mentioned just a little bit ago, and thank you for joining us, that we are actually in a transition to move everything to the Polygon blockchain, which is a sidechain or a layer 2 solution on Ethereum, where you use Matic tokens to pay for your transaction fees instead of Ethereum tokens. And Alex, you are flying.
I was jumping, apparently.
Jumping. So the what that means for you, Sai, is that once the transition is complete, every transaction will be roughly like a tenth of a cent to complete instead of, as you say, transaction fees over $50. So that will clear that up pretty quickly. It's also a super fast side chain, really good technology, kind of industry leading, honestly. But we've been working with them for a while on this, and the transition is pretty much right around. But,
and some people might wonder why we didn't start with that. Well, the Sandbox has been around for a while now. The transaction fees, when I first started making transactions on the Sandbox, were like 30 cents to like buy a land or send an NFT or mint something. They were super cheap. So so while Polygon is still like Joseph said, like a tenth of a cent, the $50 you see now are what, 1,000 times more than they were a year ago, even or 100 times.
A year ago, a year ago
was my math off?
It was like 550, so it would have been a 10x. But when we started working,
I'm talking about just the gas fees.
That's what I mean, right? Because the gas, like ironically, like the number that you see on gas, as far as I can tell, anyway, for my transactions, that number of Gwei has always been the same. And the only reason why it seems like a lot is because we keep looking at the US dollars, right? But if you're like, if you have way too much ETH, you just like see like, oh, this is my fee in ETH, and like you could kind of forget it, right? So the in terms of like how that changes when we were minting, and you're talking about like it's like 30 cents to do the thing, you're right, it was, because at peak at like 500 a year ago, that's like $5, right? But when we were minting, it was like an ETH was $120 or less, something like that. And then you could do like low speed transactions because we didn't, there wasn't like super high demand for the Sandbox. I mean,
look at this thing.
That is a really cool hammer.
That is an awesome hammer.
It's like a whole pickaxe on the back of that hammer.
Yeah.
So, I mean, as we say all those things, it's more nostalgic than it is reality. But as we transition over to Polygon, you can imagine the same thing may happen over the next couple of years. While Polygon is a great layer 2 solution, what happens if Polygon becomes so popular that, a single token is $100 instead of $1.60 or whatever it is now, right?
Hopefully
that
by
1
then
cent fee is 10 cents, right? So that's something to think about, is all these technologies are going to continue to build. And so, when we go back to the person who says like, I got here late, well, you didn't, trust me. When you make the transition to
There's
Polygon,
a hole.
somebody's gonna say to you later, like, you got here early, and like, good job. So let's see. Dr. Word asks, will I be able to play on my Samsung fridge? Well, that depends. Does your Samsung fridge run on iOS, Android? I don't know. Because soon, as soon as the development of the PC version is finished, the team is continuing to expand to offer these new options. So, you might be able to play the Sandbox on your iOS, Android, Samsung fridge. You never know. Maybe you can get an oven that has it, so while you're cooking dinner, you can be like, "Oh, here we go."
It's just the GPU is the oven. It just heats up the.
It's just cooking.
I've seen somebody cook steak on an old AMD CPU. They just took a little sliver of meat and cooked it like Korean barbecue style on top of a CPU with the heat sink taken off.
Never would I, unless the CPU. I guess if the CPU.
It was old. It was old, and then they set it up to run some sort of like a Blender CPU render or something like that.
Yeah, Merlins. This is a legitimate thing. What you just said, yes, I agree. Yes, this is the opportunity. This is the bridge for you to get to the place where you want to be.
Ooh.
I like you. Once again, for me, August 2020,
Yeah,
when the
why can't I
sand
get
token
by?
came out, what it was like February of 2020 when I purchased my first land. It was November or so when Alex purchased his first land of 2019, and now we're in a situation where like I was making announcements for Gordon Ramsay's Hell's Kitchen buying land here, and like Deadmau5 and Richie Houghton and Snoop, and it was like, what is happening with life? That this is a thing that I get to discuss live with you guys every day, right? Because otherwise, I just came in and bought some land when it was like $40, and of course, I was very fortunate to get it back then. But you know, this is the bridge. If you're thinking like, hey, this could be, I could be associated with or work with these people, very potentially, because you working now, you're one of like 1,000, maybe 2,000 people who would have worked with this tool actively to make a great game right now. There haven't been that many games even created for game jams. The average game jam so far has submitted maybe 50 games, and this is what, number 6, 7, Alex?
Yeah, this one had
Something like
about
that.
850 submissions, but a lot of those are getting kicked out by the review process because people
Because
are
they
trying
were,
to cheat the system.
yeah, yeah, like they
But
weren't legitimate games.
they
They were
weren't
just like,
legitimate games, yeah.
yeah, a couple of wolves running on the ground, not an actual game, right? So, there's
Less
a lot
than
of stuff
that.
going on, but I mean,
Less.
that's, yeah,
You can
that's
see the
fair. That's fair.
thumbnail as an empty grass field with like a
Yeah.
person on it, and we're like, that's not a real game.
Dr. Word says, how will moving to Polygon affect sand staking? Well, Doctor, that's actually an interesting question because Uniswap, as I mentioned just a few minutes ago, the entire Uniswap platform voted at a margin of 110 no to over 7 million yes, is that they would like to move the Uniswap platform to Polygon as well. So I'm going to continue to do some research on the timeline for that. Uh, you know, Not financial advice. Once if we're moved way before Uniswap probably is moved, then because we're already in the process and they're just talking about it now, then I'll leave that decision up to you, of course, because it's your money, right? It's your choice. If you wanted to move it immediately, there will probably be a gas fee for taking it out of Uniswap's ETH chain and moving it to the Polygon chain for us. If you don't and you just wait till Uniswap moves, maybe that's free. But we'll get more on that
Whee!
as it develops. Will the sandbox make in-game stats like total wins and losses available outside the individual game outside its metaverse, for example, through a chain like Polygon? Continues. We are working on making global stats a thing. So, in a way, like Alex is in a game now, and the things that Alex does in the game that can be globally measured should be measured. Okay. So that is
Oh,
something that's in mind.
Joseph.
But yes, Alex.
It's impossible to
It's
collect 60 data points, but I can try. That's where that branching system is.
okay.
So I guess they give you a choice of like side A or side B, and it
Yeah.
locks you out of going to the other side. That's probably why it's impossible to go the other way. There are a lot of places like I can.
Interesting.
I could
Not
probably
Jackie
figure out how to get
Chan.
60.
Will renting land be possible entirely with smart contract? Yeah, that's the intent. Yes. In the long term, when you see the rentals come out, it's going to be because there is a user-friendly way for that to happen. Wow, there's so many comments. They're actually starting to scroll faster than Restream can keep up. Faster than I can keep up, rather. That's great. Is there voice chat Merlins? No, there is not currently voice chat inside the game. Proxy chat is a whole different animal that goes beyond the multiplayer needs, just basically to have, like, we're currently at a stage where we're trying to develop a multiplayer physics engine so that if you kick a ball and another person kicks a ball, both of those interactions can happen on a multiplayer space. Once that's done, then we can work on other things like that. But that's our core, community demand right now. Let's see. Is it worth it if we don't have the alpha pass? Scotch, yes, it is worth it for sure. You can play inside the social hubs where we'll have events going on throughout. So those events can earn you sand tokens directly. The last that I got approved personally, I was in charge of this just a couple of weeks ago and moved on to do some other thing. But in that conversation, I had asked, can we give away 15 sand every 15 minutes? And the answer was yes. So if that is still the case, then that's 15, what math, what, like $75? Something like that every 15 minutes. So that's really rough math, like on the spot. So don't quote me on
15,
that.
that's
15
15
sand,
times 5.
15 sand.
So,
Yeah.
more than that. I haven't heard about that one specifically, so I'm not sure. But whether there's immediate sand rewards or not for people who don't have an alpha pass, there are 4 free experiences that anybody can play. So there is going to still be stuff for you to explore, to play, to interact with people. There's extra stuff for the alpha pass holders, but then there's lots of opportunities to get the alpha pass still. So I think everybody's going to have fun, whether they have an alpha pass or not, as long as they play. So if you don't play, then there's no fun. I'm not sure where I'm supposed to go. I'm supposed to launch more missiles.
Yeah, Rectoragi asks, hi, I've created my own avatar on VoxEdit, but I can't use it. Does someone know why? So currently, the avatar system is not a fully user-generated system. It is built so that each individual asset is there. We are currently integrating systems like, as Alex mentioned earlier, the CyberKong's VX, all the gutter cats, the bored apes, that sort of thing, working in there so that if you have an NFT, then you can translate that into the sandbox. Now, you can use that asset as your main character in your game, what you have just created, by importing it into the GameMaker and making a game and saying, I want to overwrite the avatar as the person comes into your game, and I want them to instead use this character. So you can do that now, or you can save that asset for later as more features launch. So once again, we are just rolling into the alpha for the main game itself, just to get users in the kind of multiplayer and game experiences that we have already developed. And then we will continue to push features as time goes along. Let's see.
Did you guys hear about Rich the Kid? What about Rich the Kid? I don't know what they're talking about. Did he buy some land?
There's a good question here. Ben Nee says, how will it work when you have several lands, but they are not together on the map? Will I still be able to build a 3x2 land experience? Ben, your lands will need to be adjacent in order to build a single experience that goes across, because in the top right where you see that little mini map, inside the game client, you're actually able to see your coordinates on the larger map using that mini map. You're also able to see adjacent land on that mini map. So you'll know when you're about to run up to the border and the metaverse is going to still be there happening behind the scenes, right? We just don't load those adjacent games because we don't want to ruin your experience as a developer for your players by loading in. Once again, this is kind of a cyberpunk-y style game, or like a, I don't know, I guess, sci-fi future game, right? So you wouldn't want, hanging off the side of your land there, you wouldn't want to see like Donkey Kong, you know what I mean? Like just like climbing a building, or King Kong out there.
Legend of Zelda castle off in the
exactly.
distance.
Yeah, you want
it just
Hyrule's castle out there. It would kind of ruin your user's experience and your vision as a developer. So that'll be there. You just keep that in mind, that they do need to be adjacent, yes, in order to design them. So if you aren't adjacent, you may try to work out a deal with other people who aren't adjacent and shuffle some stuff around. There are options for trading like that, but it is a higher risk trade. Alternatively, of course, you could try to sell your land and buy another one if you see one that's a good deal, that sort of thing. So you've got some options. But what do you think will happen to the sand crypto in the next 24 hours? Honestly, the world may never know. You know what I mean? We had a great Black Friday sale. If you want to see it like that, the way that crypto goes, you literally never really know. The one thing that you can know is that playing in the Sandbox Alpha is going to earn you 1,000 sand. That's what you can know. Let's see. What is your main goal? To make this game a Minecraft-like experience, or to make this game something different? Playboy Cardi, our main goal is to make this space available for you to make whatever you want. That's the goal. It does have a voxel style, so it often gets compared to Minecraft. But you can see already from the game here is that this isn't playing anything like Minecraft. It's not a survival-based game where you have to wait for sun up and sun down and dodge creepers and do all this other stuff. The developer has made something completely different. And it's just a great narrative experience in a great thematic, science fiction world. That cat looks like it just ate a zombie.
That's a bear.
Or a cute little bear. All right. Either way, interesting. But yeah. Let's see here.
I gotta open the gate first. That makes sense.
Clara Satya says, I believe sand will catch up to AXS price soon. And Clara, I think that importantly, you'll want to look at the total market cap of both assets and do the math based on that. Because I think it could possibly catch up to AXS, maybe even pass it in terms of total market cap. But for individual shares, if the Sandbox had the same individual price as AXS, then we would be worth something like 30 times more than that company on the whole, which is possible. But also, I think if it had the same price right now, we would be worth more than Bitcoin. So
yeah, because to be
possible,
you'd have to go 13x on the current price.
And
or 15x, something like that.
Yeah, I guess we wouldn't be worth more than Bitcoin at that point, but we would be like number 4 in all total market cap. Yeah,
I get nervous thinking about that.
That'd be pretty good. It's possible. It's possible given the way that crypto space works. Anything can happen. Never say no. You know what I mean? If the users are picking this up, honestly, I mean, at $5, $6, $7 per sand, and you're earning 1,000 sand. I think if we get past alpha, right, and you're still seeing that price, the interest that existed in Axie Infinity will instantly be the same here, I believe, because the play to earn economy is strong, right, in that regard, and you're going to get a lot by playing.
Okay, I don't think
Alex, we're gonna have to work on your green screen settings after this show.
Why are you disappearing?
You're great, but mine is all kinds of messy. But it's all right. We'll work on it afterward.
Oop, there we go.
Let's see here. When are the gas prices coming down? Japan, as soon as we make a transition to Polygon, gas is like less than a penny for you, and that's coming soon. So you won't have to worry about what ETH gas prices are at that stage. We'll be on that layer 2 solution. It's going to be good for you.
Whoop! Jumped the wrong way. Got another missile going up.
Party says, I would like to speak to your manager, guys. Well, if you'd like to speak to our manager, we have many of them. My manager directly is over on Discord. You can call her up anytime. I'm sure she'd be happy to speak with you. And by my manager, I mean I'm an independent, strong, independent man who don't need no man.
Where are you going with that?
I didn't know where I was going with that. I just was saying words there. Let's see. If I buy one plot and build it, but eventually when it's a full build, but all the lands besides the one I bought is sold, if I want to expand, does it mean I have to purchase it from the owner? Yes, you would. You would have to purchase the lands from the other adjacent peoples who own the lands because they are NFTs, non-fungible tokens, meaning you have the deed to your land.
It's like buying a house with the property around it, and if you want to expand your house into your neighbor's yard, you got to buy your neighbor's property.
Yep. All right. Gat Trap says a 6x6 was $1,100 a year ago in the land sale. It's true.
Yeah, if I had $1,100 back then, I would have.
Right? Yeah. I'm feeling the same way, and it's that once again goes back to that point that we were talking about earlier, where things change quickly here, and things can change quickly for our users who are playing, who are creating in this space as well. It was because, as Gat mentions, for a single tile you know, it was like $40, $45 or something, and you were able to buy estates not at auction. They were just straight up for sale. Things, of course, are different now, but you know, how will this be different a
Oh,
year from now? Will it be equivalently like priced? Uh-oh. Did you just go into a pitfall by accident?
I
Oh
trust that
wait.
I'll respawn if I fall and hit the bottom, but I was supposed
Oh
to go
yeah.
there because there's a hidden item.
Yeah,
I
it's
could
the
I could tell
secret.
I could tell that the design in this game is great because it is challenging me to navigate because there's a lot of stuff to look at, but at the
Mhm.
same time it's satisfying my exploration senses by rewarding me for exploring by having actual things to find in those places. So it's
Zbop.
this is a lot of fun. I'm liking
Zbop
this.
asks a question, Alex, that
Oh,
I
it
think you're gonna
tells you up
appreciate.
here. I'm so dumb. This
What does it
screen
do?
up here tells you the required combination, and I was like, I don't know how to do these controls. I don't know what things to press. It's right up there. It's right up
Required
there.
combo. Required combo. Zbop says, "Have you heard of the game Teardown, Alex?"
I love Teardown. If you, we're not here to shill other games, but I will shill Teardown till the day I die. It is one of the best games I have ever played. Go and play it. It is a ton of fun. I can't wait for the new update that's going to be coming out for free for people who own
Yep.
Teardown. A lot of my
It's like
friends,
popping bubble wrap, guys. You gotta.
yeah, a lot of people that that I follow as artists have worked on Teardown. People that I've worked with have worked on Teardown. It's a great game. It does need some pretty powerful processing power for it does need some powerful processing power both from CPU and GPU because it has one of the most intense physics simulation systems ever designed, and it is super efficient in what it does because you can basically burn, break, explode everything with minute detail. It's not like was it Red? Was that Martian game where you could terraform? You could like dig holes into the ground and
Red
stuff.
Planet, I think
Red,
maybe. I don't know.
no, Red Faction. Red Faction. It's
Oh
not
yeah,
like that
sure.
where you're punching like a big ball into the ground. It's like no, you can literally like you can dig up individual pieces of grass, kind of stuff. It's crazy.
All right. So the question came through, will I be able to use Bitsky for sand? And actually, yes, Bitsky
You
was one
already
of our
can.
first partners that's
Yeah.
already directly integrated into the website. So if you have a Bitsky wallet and you're signing up for the first time, just click the Bitsky option and then it'll ask you to fill in your email and that sort of stuff. But you can sign straight away. Let's see here. When Nike partnership? Great question, Lin Gang. I think after
Uh,
Adidas, you really never know. You know what I mean?
yeah.
We got the Adidas partnership there. So
I think Adidas. I, I'm not sure exactly what the contract is. There's probably some exclusivity. Nike can buy land whenever it wants, just like anybody else. But as
here it
far
is.
as direct partnership with the Sandbox, because we are partnered with Adidas,
We'll see.
I don't think Nike can quite join in the same way. But
It
who knows?
depends. It depends. You never know. You never know.
Right?
Also, Nike, come buy some land. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
But
Don't let Adidas shake you out.
yeah. Nike,
So is
I've got a plot of land next to a Sandbox estate for 50 ETH for you.
there it
Come
is.
and get it.
It's cheap discount.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
Prime real
I
estate.
already like this. I'd be spending hours in Decentraland, but all I do is jump and look at NFTs. I like this game creation. See, that's what I'm talking about, Merlins. You're seeing. And again, if you get to that point where you've played to earn and you've got 1,011 sand, just know that picking up a land is they're approximately 30 times larger than your plot inside a DCL. So we love Decentraland. We absolutely see their value. They're a great place to have a gallery. They're a great place to hang out even, and they've got some great individual events. But in the Sandbox, we're here to make some games and make
Ooh.
experiences that are a little bit more unique, I think, if I do say so myself. And it's really cool. So Malcry Z says, how will copyright work? Can I create League of Legends like worlds or something else connected to other brands? So copyright is copyright, okay? They own the rights to their
Uh,
IP. However, with that in mind, Jinx in League of Legends is basically Harley Quinn, but they're definitely not the same, right? They're similar, they're not the same. So if you want to make a League of Legends like world, that's great. Don't call your game Runeterra, all right? Don't call your characters Vi and Jinx and Caitlyn or whatever, right? Don't take their stuff, don't make them look the same, and you won't have to worry about any copyright claims that may be put against you. However, if Riot Games comes into the sandbox and they say, hey, Malcry Z's land has copyright content on it, and we in the community verify that that copyright content does exist, legally it would have to be taken down. So just keep that in mind that you'll want to create original content, but it can be similar to content that you've seen. You can always have things that are inspired by things. You can't have the exact same thing.
Wiz-
Ironically, I saw a Mega Man asset on Twitter the other day, and it was fantastic Mega Man asset, but it was so close to Mega Man, and they just straight up called it Mega Man, right? So they probably couldn't publish that as an NFT because Capcom could come in and go, "Excuse me, sir,
right.
and or madam, take that down."
Yeah. And yeah, Wizzy the Blue is an example of that. So, Wizzy the Blue is inspired by, Gandalf and other, specifically Merlin's Revenge, an old Shockwave game I used to play when I was a kid. Um,
Nice.
uh, stuff like that. The name actually comes from Boss Baby of all things. So I guess I did break the rules a little bit there. I used the name, but I don't think they can really trademark Wizzy. Uh, so it's inspired by a bunch of different things, and has evolved into its own thing, and that happens creatively all the time. So there's lots of room to introduce your own creativity into things without just straight up copying other people's stuff and getting in trouble for it. Don't do that. That's a
Yeah.
that's a path to pain.
Right. Yeah. So, okay. So, two questions that are great coming in right after this one. It says, so still curious about traveling in the bigger sandbox. Roads? No. Can we window the experiences and see them from the outside? Yes, sort of. So, what happens typically inside the sandbox is that you're having your experience, you're playing in your space, right? Let's say this game is published to a 2x2 space and you're playing in that. When you walk up to the edge, it's going to give you a little prompt and say,
Mm-hmm.
hey, there's an experience over here at this location. It's got an image that the developer has chosen to be their kind of like hype photo for the experience you're about to have. And then it's if you press E, you're going to get a 5-second timer that starts to teleport you there.
Yeah.
That's it. So the reason why you want to have those teleports is because in this game right here, you can see there's lots of complex assets. There's lots of complex code
There's
that's
more of them.
happening here. A lot of AI interactions are happening, right? And so you wouldn't want these AI assets to have to be loaded for your game because this isn't your game, right? And so
And it would
each game
slow
loads
your game down a lot.
exactly. Exactly. So this game is going to load independently from yours. So again, you'll walk to the edge of your land and you're going to see these other games at the edges and be like, you can go over here and you can play that game. Sometimes if you own a 2x2 space and you design 4 independent games, then you're walking to your own lands. And then also a couple of Saturdays ago, Alex showed at the end of a live stream like this one, the idea that you could put kind of a billboard in your own space that says you can go to this land, and then you can click that and it'll take you to the map at sandbox.game where a user will be able to click that and load your other game. So if you have a 1x1 here and a 1x1 way over here, then you can have kind of an advertisement for yourself that says, hey, we're going to go over to your other game.
Yeah.
So those are, interesting possibilities there.
We will
And then Doc,
see
oh
that
yeah, go
travel
ahead.
system a lot more in the alpha because it's actually going to be functional in the alpha. So going up to the edge of maps, not so much with that because we've built specific doorways in those levels, but you're going to get to see that transfer system a lot more easily
Yeah.
than what we've been able to show before the alpha
Yeah.
has started.
Makes much more sense when you're actually in an experience and you walk to that edge. It'll go like, hey, you have this thing here. The main social hub, in order to make sure that you use the portals, because the portals go everywhere inside of the, if you're on the map at sandbox.game and you zoom into that sandbox logo at 0,0, that's where these experiences are being built around. And because we know we have destinations going to all of them via portals, we don't have a lot of that direct, like walk to the wall and access that, but some levels definitely do. And you'll see it a couple of times.
Mm-hmm.
And the other question scrolled through. Darn it, there's a lot of comments. I love you guys.
Well, we've got over 300 viewers right now, so
I'm like 15 minutes behind on the comments trying to address these.
Yeah.
It's great. I think so. If I recall the question, it was about how does the game engine relate to DAO, right? Public governance. And the answer to that is, and I'm gonna skip some stuff here, but the answer to that is that you can use the VoxEdit assets in any way that you like, any of our NFTs. If you want to take this game, the sandbox game, and recompile the client and rebuild it in another way to make an update, to make a change, as we get longer into development, we will unlock this to open source. That's always been the intention. But we're basically building the base, and eventually we'll let it fly in the community as the community continues to expand, continues to have different needs, wants, demands, as it gets further and further decentralized. Eventually the client will be kind of up there in public. Once again, these all being non-fungible tokens, you can always use them however you want. So you could make a totally separate game and you could integrate the NFTs from this game into that. And by that, I mean, you can make an actual like dedicated game client with the assets from the sandbox, or you could make a whole The Sandbox 2.0 if you're so inclined, because these NFTs are all NFTs. They're not going anywhere. They're staying on the chain forever. So translate them however you want.
I'm going to try for the full 60. I have an idea.
All right.
I have an idea.
Okay.
I'm going to do something I'm not allowed to. I'm going to try to get to that other branch.
Touche says, I want to know if Snoop Dogg wants to add -4, -20 to his asset list. Because if so, I know a guy. Touche. Keep that thought. Keep that thought, Touche. Let's see. I know the game maker is meant to be no code, but will there be a way to use coding to make more advanced stuff? Yes, Mouse Potato does stuff over on YouTube. We will be adding coding as time goes along. Once we get past version 1.0, we'll be adding visual scripting first, and then we'll finish visual scripting and we'll finish coding. Part of the long-term vision is to be able to use this tool to teach anybody how to make a game, and then teach them ultimately how to make sophisticated games. Excuse me, I just slapped the mic in Unity. I get excited with my hands. I don't know what to do with these out here. Yes, but yes, you'll be able to inject code at some point. But we're going to make sure that that code injection can't be malicious to the other users before we fully unlock that sort of thing. So take some time. Probably, if I was to guess, it's a year out or so, maybe more. But it really depends on how long it takes visual scripting to get created, making sure there's a really good mobile client, and that sort of thing. Would it be possible to make a card game like Inscription in the future? I think that you could probably make Inscription now. I do know the game. I'm familiar with it. It's got some really cool twists graphically, all of it.
I'm not familiar, so I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the short story, spoiler alert for those people who might play this game, as you play a little card game, it's a fully 3D first-person perspective, playing a card game.
I've seen a trailer for it. That's all I know.
And then and then you finish that particular series, and you think like, "Hey, I just beat the game," and then it's like, "Oh, by the way, now you're in a 2D isometric, like not isometric, but like Final Fantasy 1-esque visuals, and you're continuing to play the same game, and you're actually learning the backstory and the history of the game." So yeah, you could absolutely create something like that in the sandbox. It's just going to take a little time, basically, but that I think you could already do. And it's based around some like sophisticated kind of kind of uncomplex but sophisticated, like using calculators to kind of say this code needs to arrive at this point, destroy this calculator, now this thing is made. But anyway,
we do plan on supporting crypto casino type stuff, but like you'd mentioned, laws do make it tricky. So we need to have some sort of age verification in there because, like in the United States, it's illegal to have minors gambling. So those it's going to be a while before we get to that stage, but those legal considerations will be, addressed.
Yep. Let's see here. After the Adidas tweet, I would love to see Sand on Coinbase too. Well, you never know. You never know. We do hear that a lot, honestly, and we do continue to seek out new partners and new situations. But I think, interestingly, one thing to note, Marino, and I'm sure you do because you put these two things together, Adidas' only other partnership that they've created in the crypto space is with Coinbase, because Coinbase is launching an NFT exchange. So you really never know where this could go. That's a good point. Let's see. Avatar 2233411 says last Wizzy the Blue got sold for 1 Ethereum. Well, you could only get Wizzy the Blues on this stream right here. And they are they're not done. Wizzies aren't done. We're doing Wizzy hats. We got Wizzy things in mind. So those people who do own Wizzies.
In case anybody wasn't here for the announcement, I did announce that I'll be working on a 10K Wizzy avatar project native to the sandbox. Whether we decide to do my plan is to do it totally native in the sandbox. Depending on how that develops, we might do like a 2D artwork, kind of like Bored Ape Yacht Club, and then have it bridge over to the sandbox. But I would prefer it to be totally native to the sandbox. It just depends on how soon we could do it. So there's going to be more announcements related to that with details. But specifically, if you own any of the Wizzy characters, meaning Golden Wizzy, Wizzy the Blue, Santa Wizzy, and what's the other one? Wizzy the Orange.
For now.
Wizzy the Orange is going to be...
they're distributed when we go Polygon, right?
That's going to be distributed when we go Polygon because I need to send out 170 of them, and sending out 34 assets was like half an ETH. So those gas fees are killer. Once we go Polygon, Wizzy the Orange is going out, and that will also be I could whitelist people before Wizzy the Orange is going out, but I imagine the avatar system is going to go live after Polygon anyway. We'll see how it progresses, and I'll make sure everything's really clear with maybe like some articles or something. So just keep an eye out for that. But people who own any of the characters will get early access to minting with a limited amount, because I do want it to be fair for everybody to get a chance. And there's going to be in-universe reasons for there being so many Wizzies. So there's lore around this.
You don't even know how hype I am about this, Alex. I'm like, I already told Alex, like, I was like, bro, the day you meant that, like, the day that exists, I'm buying 5 immediately, at least. I don't even know. I'm just like, I do that. Okay, I get hype about things. I buy them. I'm teaching my kids in our local after school program, like, about drones and stuff. And I'm like, oh yeah, I need a drone. I just went out and spent like $2,000 on a drone. And my wife was like, you did what? I'm like, no, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Merlin's Goat asks, will you need your vaccine passport to enter the Snoop Dogg concert? Yes. You don't need that. We're in the metaverse. You know what I mean? We're in the metaverse. We're out here. Just don't breathe too heavily into your microphone. I don't need your computer virus.
Yeah. I would recommend getting an antivirus and put a pop filter on.
Yep.
Make sure you have one of these. I mean, and just breathe through that and
Yes, we have this. Yes. We have this. Yeah, it's good stuff. It's good stuff, Alex. You put it over your nose like a clown. Look at that.
Yes, I did. We're having fun. All right.
We're weird.
So
How do you like that? All
I
right,
think I
here,
might be able to get all 60. I'm not, because I did use some jump hacks here. So
he's exploiting. He's cheating, folks. Let's see here. Might sound like a stupid question, no such thing. But can I link and use a MetaMask Ether wallet in MetaMask, but on the Binance Smart Chain? So actually, that's a great question to ask. Binance Smart Chain is its own blockchain technology, so you won't be able to use MetaMask to do things like buying bitcoins, but you can buy assets that may be transferable. You would want to investigate to see if there is a transferring service. So the one that I know of off the top of my head, so I'm going to bring it up, is you'll see on the top 100, there's an asset called Solana that is kind of, trying to compete with Ethereum or whatever whatever its direction is. Maybe I think that's not true. I think they said that they don't want to compete with ETH. They want to be their own thing and they like ETH. So I'm going to correct that. But if you want to own Solana and you only have ETH, there's a service called Wormhole for them, right? And they have a pool just like Uniswap when you do exchanges, and the pool says I'm holding a certain amount of ETH. So you send ETH in and it sends like Solana ETH out, and then you convert that to Solana. And I think BSC has some similar things, but I can't confirm. However, I'm pretty sure that you can buy BSC directly from Binance. So if you send your ETH to your Binance and then you sell the ETH and buy BSC, that's a way you could do it with minimal to almost no fees to do that. So there's some options for you. But that said, none of those things really affect what the sandbox is doing per se, because our entire ecosystem works in sand tokens. So you'll want to own sand tokens, and currently you'll want to own those sand tokens on the Ethereum main network. Um,
I'm just looking out for more of these things to grab. I've only got 8 left to find.
User asks, Ben Nee over on YouTube says, how does the jump button work? So Ben, actually, that's a great question because it is different than you might expect. The jump is pretty straightforward. You jump when you push the jump, but
He's talking about
control, yeah, in terms of that, that is a user created invisible platform there that you don't see, but when you push E, you're controlling the invisible platform. So the platform is designed to have interaction with your character or physics with the character, but it's not visually there. So you're pushing jump to get this kind of like rocket effect, right? And then the speed of that platform is determined by the developer. So in that way, that's what, yeah. And then even in an even more like generic way, regular jumping is pretty dynamic in this game in that you're very much in control of where you go as you fall. So you have the ability to kind of turn in midair to control
as you should.
As one does in real life, of course.
I hate it when games don't let you air turn, because it I don't know. As somebody who grew up playing Mario, mostly Mario and Sonic, the ability to air turn is like essential. And then you go to I didn't really grow up playing Castlevania. You go to Castlevania or Mega Man and they don't let you air turn, and I'm like, it feels like I don't know, having like an iron weight on your ankles. It takes the fun out of it for me. So I love that we have air jumping. It makes me happy. Makes everything better. More exciting, more interesting. You can do all sorts of crazy dumb acrobatics and run off the edge of a platform and die. As one does. So
let's see.
I think I activated the laser on this, and I think it kills me instantly, even if the robot doesn't see me. But fortunately, I can get up on the roof. So,
yes, Stomain. It's almost certain. So the Stomain asks, have you considered using C# when you get to adding coding? I think it'll be great, as there's already a lot of Unity devs out there. So this client is built on Unity, and that will almost certainly be the case.
Yeah, after visual scripting. Oh, I should not fall in there. That could be bad. Or in there. Let's not do that. Let's not get stuck, Alex. We're so close to the end.
Will it be possible to level up your avatar? Sort of. You'll level up your profile as you go through the season. That's kind of how the seasonal content is designed. So, and
Yes.
then
If I could interject there. So
Yep.
the experience that you get as part of the seasonal content for the alpha is to unlock reward tiers.
Yep.
It does not power up your character per se. But NFTs that you own will show up in your wallet. So if you've bought some things, like I can go in and I can wear these things and do some more damage in combat, although it looks a little, doesn't look bad on this guy, but looks a little goofy. You know, I can, there we go. Now I'm a space pirate. So you can do different things like that. If you want to play with just the items that come with the game, you can switch over to the local inventory and equip those. And we had this. I don't remember what our outfit was. It was, I think these. There we go. Yeah, that's how we looked. So there's in the games that you play, so a lot of the seasonal content is hubs, but there's also single player experiences that allow combat, stuff like that, and there's equipment that you'll be able to pick up in those games. You won't own the NFTs that you pick up in the gameplay there, but just like this game, you'll be able to play through that experience with that equipment. So keep an eye out for treasure chests in those games that will power up your character for better combat skills.
All right. It says, so yeah, and then to that point as well, as I mentioned earlier on, Tinius, we are intending on having kind of global statistics. So once again, leveling up, I guess it's kind of a perspective answer. But you know, for me, leveling up means getting achievements and kind of having a trackable sort of system for how much progress I've made playing games in the sandbox at all. And of course, to some degree, that could be how much sand you've earned or whatever. But to another degree, of course, it's how many things have you killed? You know, how far have you walked? Those kinds of trackable metrics are things that we intend to have inside, excuse me, the game long term. Let's see, those places will probably be different projects that will exist probably after Bubblegum comes out and establishes successful. Sorry, I guess I didn't understand that yet. See, it's an app. Yes, Marius Z. Milka says, will I be able to just create assets and sell them on your market without owning or renting land? Yes.
Yes.
You can. Yeah.
When people are upset about being late for land or something like that, that's the thing that land is specifically for developing games on, and there's so many other things to do that are not that. This is going to be a huge community. It's already a huge community of artists. We have over 200 artists in our creator fund, and then I think over 20, 25 in staff full time as artists. And that's just the people that we've approved to be artists on our platform right now, before the alpha's launched. And it's going to open up full UGC. Anybody can upload. Pretty soon, anybody will be able to publish, and anybody will be able to mint, and anybody will be able to sell. So if you are interested in creating voxel art, this is the place to do it.
All right, so the question came in just a few minutes ago. Where's the Google form? And folks, hey, if you're here because you would like to win an NFT around that Wizzy theme,
here go the Rockets
today, fill out this form here, include your ETH address, of course, and your username inside the sandbox. And you will be eligible to win a Wizzy themed NFT. So currently, the Wizzy themed NFT is a hat. The Wizzy hat, looks like the Wizzy the Blue Assets hat, but has special properties for your avatar. So while wearing the hat in game, as Alex just showed you on the screen when he put on the pirate suit, you'll get special little I want to say perks, but you get stats specifically around that asset. And this asset will be minted here very soon. I think it's not right, Alex. It's not currently minted, but we're
Nope.
going to be minting and distributing it. So
Probably
we've only
minting
had
tomorrow when gas fees are low, and
cool,
distributing the first ones. So I
very
want to
good.
run some tests in the GameMaker first, make sure it looks good in various situations.
All
Can
right,
Wizzy
and
winners
so
enter? Yes, yes. So
yes,
the exclusiveness of winning Wizzy the Blue was only for Wizzy the Blue. So for each NFT giveaway that we have, it's a brand
yes.
new list of exclusivity. So if you want a Wizzy the Blue, go ahead, enter for the hat, enter for any other NFTs.
Merlin's, if you would like to just put in Merlin's goat as your username, that's okay too. Just want to make it like, the thing that you use, that your preferred username basically is what I'm looking for here. And then let's see, yeah, to Alex's point there with the Wizzy entries, this is a new form with a new list, so this form won't check if you've won a Wizzy the blue or orange or whatever in the past. This is a new unique asset, and once these run out, as we did with Wizzy the Blue, they'll be gone for good. So just keep in mind this is a limited offer, and they will eventually run out as we do these live streams. So if you have it now, Merlin's, once again, I don't know, I'm loving you today, giving you that love there. If they run out, you can say, I was early. I got this blue hat. You don't have it. This is cool, and it's worth whatever it ends up being worth later. When we were first distributing Wizzy the Blues, we had no idea kind of where it could go. And right now, as of this week, they're selling for over $4,000. So get in while you can. You know what I mean? These are great, cool assets to have.
Yeah, I
Let's
mean
see.
what does that mean numbers wise? Obviously, not all Wizzy the Blues have sold for that much, but if
Mhm.
you take that value and multiply it out by the about 170 we're giving
Yeah, because
out
it's
for the
40,
live streams.
4,300. So Wizzy the Blue has a market cap of $731,000 right now, roughly, for all the Wizzy the Blues. So it's interesting, right? When you think about it like that, because this is a community driven asset that people want, because we're all here together. We're hanging out in this chat. We're on these streams doing great stuff. So, to see that come together with you guys is super exciting. Super exciting. Can anybody create an asset and sell it on the marketplace? Anybody can create assets right now, and soon anybody will be able to publish and mint them on the marketplace. I believe that update is going to come as soon as our Polygon transition completes, because we understand that right now, for you to mint an asset in the marketplace is pretty expensive on the ETH blockchain, and we're transitioning over to Polygon where it'll be just penny. And not Jackie Chan says Alex's mind is exploding when I said
A
that
little
number,
bit, yeah.
because he watched you just like rub your face.
Well, so a few weeks ago I calculated it out, and it was
Yeah.
like $250,000.
Right. Right.
But the values exploded since the Avatar announcement and the increase in sand price, and just
Yep. And now that they're not now that you can't get any, right? That's the
right,
interesting thing,
yeah,
right? Because there are these plans, and there are other plans that we don't discuss, and the 10K plan in it being its own thing was just, it's such a great, I don't know, it's great to see the community reward the community as well, you know what I mean? Like, to see us all kind of coming together and doing these things and seeing it. I remember seeing a game jam submission, I think it was in game jam number 3, where somebody had the main enemy character transform from one NFT to another NFT to another NFT, and along the way it was Santa Wizzy pops in, Golden Wizzy pops in, regular
oh
Wizzy
yeah,
pops in as the big
that
bad
was
end game
the
guy.
Beast Quest game jam, I think.
Yeah, well, maybe. Yeah, either way,
I
it
remember
was
that
just
one.
I remember seeing that, and think about that now, right? That game, while back then they got all those assets for free. Now their total of that game's value is what, 10 grand?
Yeah.
Just for that one game, right? And so the crypto space is very interesting. It's I describe it to my wife all the time as we're just in the Wild West out here, you know what I mean? You never know what
Right.
can happen, you never know where things are going to go, and it's always a great time with you guys together.
All
Let's
right.
see.
We got time for another game, Joseph, or do you gotta run?
I'm okay, actually. My wife is doing basketball practice right now, and so they're going to be gone for like another hour. We
Okay.
have 259 responses in the chat, though, right now, so I'm going to go ahead and close down that form at 260. I am going to type RNG in my local web browser. I'm going to type my max 260 people. We're going to figure out who won that Wizzy asset right now. So submission number 78 is today's winner. So I find 78 really quick. There we go. Click, click. And over on twitch.tv, username logout332 is the winner of today's Wizzy asset. Once again, you're winning the Wizzy the Blue Hat that can be used on your avatar inside the Sandbox game. This is an NFT that will be minted with specific properties that will enhance your character as you play. And you'll be able to use it across games so long as the developer allows you to use your avatar inside that game. So congratulations to you. I'll put you inside the form right now as we're talking. And if you miss out, don't worry. You can come back. Alex, I have a question for you.
What's that?
This is what kind of giveaways will we be doing when we do live streams all week long?
Oh, we're gonna be giving away alpha passes, at least to a stream. At least that's the plan so far.
Yes, I'm excited for that. I'm so hyped for that. Hey, so if you don't know already, being part of the Sandbox Game Alpha allows you to win 1,000 sand tokens and 3 exclusive alpha NFTs. So if you win an alpha pass while watching our live streams that are going to start up at 3 a.m. UTC, I believe is the correct time. I double checked that. It'll start up at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, US, 9 p.m. New York time. So look those up, Eastern Standard Time. Convert it to your local time zone because we'll be giving away alpha passes all week long with different events going on all week in different streams. The schedule will be released soon as we get all of that sort of thing confirmed. And those alpha passes, you look at the price of sand, you do the math, 1,000 sand while you play in the alpha. We're having fun with people in the alpha. We're going to actually be simulcast streaming as well during many of these streams. So you'll see Alex playing, you'll see me playing. We're going to be playing with you or hanging out in the social hubs, doing stuff with you while we do those live streams. So join us on the live stream if you don't get an alpha pass or can't otherwise. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Some people wanted us to repeat the time. It is 9 p.m. Eastern Time, New York City time, 9 p.m. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday.
Yep.
Saturday, back to the regular 2 p.m. Eastern Time.
To answer the question for Open the Box over on YouTube, they say, how do we apply to win an alpha pass? There's going to be a lot of different ways to do that, but during our streams, it's going to be exactly like what we just did for the Wizzy asset. I'm going to put a form in the chat. You'll fill out the form. I'll select someone randomly after about 5 minutes, and then we'll do it again near the end of the show. So twice during the show, every show, we'll be giving away an alpha pass here. You'll have other options as well, so keep following our Twitter at @TheSandboxGame because there's lots of different kinds of contests. We have 1,000 alpha passes that are going out to landowners specifically, 5,000 total alpha passes, where those 4,000 are given out for free to the community in different ways. Okay, so just definitely have a look at that. Alex, what are we playing here now?
I just yeeted that bear.
That teddy bear. Get the heck out of here, teddy bear.
So somebody asked if you could only do RPG style games, and you can see we're doing a platformer here. I can't turn the camera at all; it's locked in place. And this is actually looking pretty cool. I mean, as far as it's got that 2.5D feel. Technically, it's 3D, but we've got this parallax effect. We got cool stuff going on in the background with helicopters and things like that. And yeah, we just totally. I don't know what's up with the runes down here, but
yeah,
I'm liking this so far. And whoop, there's a bunch of zombies. Ugh.
Oh, they're big boy. That's a big boy, right?
Bear went flying again. Oh, hey! He tried to escape. It was not happening. All right.
Close. 3 a.m. Amsterdam. Yeah, TNUs,
I
I
know.
apologize for that.
Yeah.
See, the struggle is that
I have a
we want to
family. That's the main struggle.
yeah, that's
I
the
have
real
I have
struggle,
kids who
right?
don't get to see me very much,
Yep.
even though I work from
Yep.
home.
Alyssa, the link doesn't work currently because I only left it open for about 5 minutes and then closed it out with 260 form entries. But once again, join us starting what 2 days? Monday, right? Monday is going to be our first when the alpha goes live. We'll be streaming at 9 p.m. New York time or Eastern Standard Time. All right. We're gonna give away 2 alpha passes every stream in the same way, where the form will go up. It'll be pretty quick. We'll do it once in the middle of the show, once near the end of the show. And so you can win an alpha pass. And during that alpha, if you're playing, you'll have an opportunity to get 1,000 sand tokens just by playing and 3 exclusive NFTs just in that alpha. So, Wan Chi, I love this name. Uh, when is the next form? We'll give you another form once again in the next stream. The form today was for a Wizzy themed asset that is exclusive to these streams regularly. So that Wednesday stream and that Saturday stream, we always do this, right? But for the alpha pass, we're having special event streams, and that is where Alex and I, like starting at 9 p.m. New York time, are going to be doing streams all week long next week. Normally, we just do the Wednesday stream and we do the Saturday stream, but we're going to be doing streams all week long as a special event. So I know that it may be early, it may be late. Oh no, Alyssa, I'm sorry. Oh geez, yeah, you should not use your phone while driving. Please don't. Please
Oh
don't.
no, leave me behind!
Oh.
I was supposed to be riding the car across.
Well, I mean, it's going 88 miles an hour, Alex. You can't hold on.
There was a delay for it starting, and I like moved around, and then it just left without me. Now I gotta fight all these zombies. So it's a little bit difficult to set up, but what you could do for something like that is have doors attached to your car that are set to be open, so there's no collision with the player, and they can be invisible. And then when the player is on top of the car, close the doors to lock the player in there, and it'll be like a cage that should. Oh, can I not get through here now, or will it? Oh, ooh, that's pretty. Okay, so I guess I made it, but yeah, there's ways to kind of make sure that the player ends up where you need them to.
Dan's 65 says, and why is the alpha pass so expensive? Well, it's actually not. Dan's, the alpha pass is going to be free, with the exception that you need to redeem it because it is an NFT. So not only will you have the alpha pass itself, the NFT is going to give you access to the spaces and the access to earn the 1,000 sand for the sort of battle pass like system as you play. But you'll be able to keep the alpha pass forever if you want to, as a way of, and you can place it inside your game experience or your land like this if you own a land, to say like I was there then at the very beginning, right? And so it is in itself going to be a collectible item. So really cool stuff going on, but once again, no cost to that alpha pass, whether you get it from entering as a landowner or you get it from any of our competitions that go on. No expense to you except for the gas fee to mint the alpha pass. Okay.
And note that the gas fee for the amount of sand that you earn through the alpha pass, it makes the gas fee for getting the pass and for claiming the rewards is less than 3% of the value of the sand at the current value of sand, which who knows what it'll do during the alpha. So it's maybe like it's maybe like I think like $50 on a good gas day to get about $4,000 or sorry, $7,000 worth of sand.
Right. When sand was $7 yesterday, and so like of course the price of sand can fluctuate on any given day, but regardless of that fact, it is, I mean, it's going to make some money. It's going to make some money if that's your concern there. And otherwise, if you're looking at it as a collectible asset, it is definitely going to be a collectible asset. People are going to continue to play the sandbox for years. And maybe somebody who goes out and they play to earn sand and their one goal is to just get that alpha pass to be like, hey, I need it in my land or whatever. Right. So a lot of cool stuff. BCRRV says the sandbox in Spanish. No, but you can
Well,
make it in
it's
Spanish.
I don't
You
know if
it,
I've seen a game in Spanish, but you can use any Latin character language in the game maker. So you can
Yep.
type in Spanish, French, German, English. Um, I think it supports
Mhm.
the extended Unicode set. So if you have like umlauts or accent marks, things like that, it should work. And then we have seen people set up their whole game where you could pick a language at the start. Now that is a lot of work to set up duplicates of everything that you're doing to
Mhm.
display the translated text. We don't have a built-in system to do language support right now. But maybe we'll see that in the future. Certainly, when we get to visual scripting, stuff like that will be easier to do. And it just requires very careful planning to duplicate out the text that you have if you want to do a language selection at the beginning. But you could make a whole game in Spanish. I would say just if you do that, put a note in your game description to let people know that it's in Spanish. So when they go to play it, they're not surprised and confused that it's not in English, which
Mhm.
most of the content on the sandbox is in English right now.
Okay, so there's two big questions I want to ask. Some of them I've answered in text, so if you've asked a question recently, I may have responded as the sandbox game. But Merlin's asked if users play through my game, can I award them a custom asset or NFT as a reward for beating my game? Not yet, but that is an intention that we will add to the game soon. Once again, because of the fairly high cost of minting an NFT, um, if you were to have a user say your reward is you can mint this NFT, they may not want to do that. But once we move to Polygon and that cost is virtually nothing, then it makes sense for us to kind of launch that out there. And then there was another question that came in. Let me see if I can find that. Oh, yes. Hi, guys. I've seen special tags used in the text boxes to color words and such. Is there a page in the wiki to see those? You'll want to look for special,
Uh,
like
it's the
Unity
Yeah,
color
let
code
me find it.
changes.
Unity Rich
So
Text is what it's called.
there we go.
Um,
So you
there
can
we go.
use any Unity rich text because this is built in the Unity engine. So Alex is going to paste that into the chat. Touche, I saw that DM and I'm going to get to that as soon as possible. You know what? Let me go ahead and
So
check it
yeah,
right now.
you can set bold, italic bold, color. Um, I've had some of the color words not work correctly, but hex code seems to always work. So I think maybe the library of the color names is maybe not complete. But using the hex values should always work. And you can also change the size. So you see this in the Becoming Mr. Pumpkinhead game that I made. I made some really big red bold text as like a almost like a jump scare. I mean, it's not really that scary, but it's like a doom kind of feeling. And you can also combine them all by using nesting. So it's basically like old school HTML. Or if if you're old enough to be manually typing rich text in Notepad.
Hey,
Hey.
Pappy asks question for the alpha and the game. Are you looking to partner with content creators? Yes, but not just for those things. We're always looking at interesting partnerships all the time, and you've seen some of them come through. You've seen some interviews with them as well, meet and greets sort of things, certainly social stuff. You've seen videos, we've seen all sorts of different things that is to a certain extent marketing, but also to a certain extent, um, are they a natural part of the community? Let's leverage that. Can we like Snoop Dogg is a great example of a content creator in a way, right? He's got a huge market of people, right? And so we do those partnerships in that way. So yeah, certainly. Um,
Somebody
question comes.
requested.
Oh yeah.
Sorry. Go, go
Oh,
go
a
go with the
particular game,
questions.
right?
I'm just
Yeah.
explaining what I'm doing. I'm just trying to find a
So,
specific game requested.
what are y'all's thoughts on the dystopunk community that's planning to build a sandbox experience? We love the concept of interoperability wherever it is possible, right? So when we see communities like the Distopunks, like the Cyberkongs, like the artifacts that come in that are crypto-centric communities, absolutely, like bring them in. We got Bored Apes out here. We got all sorts of different people who, or groups that may not normally directly interact with each other, that are now part of this metaverse, and you'll be able to see their assets translated into the sandbox using VoxEdit, right? So I am very interested in seeing how each of them honestly does things differently. I think that's my biggest thing, you know. Like I look at the Bored Ape community and they're doing like a Miami 2035, I think, experience on their lands, and then you've got, you know, you've got the Disto Punks, which are similar to the Crypto Punks, but they're a little bit different, right? A different group, derivative project. But it's like, hey, if you've got a NFT group and you want to build in this space, you know, what the Fungi family, Touche in the chat here, right? And they're an organic NFT community that built directly from within the sandbox, right? And so you're seeing all of these different things, and it's always going to be very interesting to see how they do things differently. Are they game-centered experiences? Are they social-centered experiences, right? And so yeah, I mean, it's going to be great. Welcome all, you know, welcome all. Come hang out, build some stuff, do things differently than the world has ever seen, and then the world will notice. Let's
The game I'm looking for is not showing up on the page I was told it was on. So we might have to skip this one.
Drive a car or ride a motorcycle in the sandbox. You can sort of program those sorts of things. This is once again developer centric in any given game. If you want people to interact with your game in a certain way, we've seen users, you know, create lots of things that aren't default kind of templated with the Sandbox GameMaker, from cars to flying carpets to airplanes, or no, excuse me, helicopters. I've seen. We've also seen, specifically with the Walking Dead game jam, we've seen guns and tanks introduced. You know, where ranged attacks are not like one of those default perks that we have inside of the GameMaker client yet. So there's all sorts of different stuff that you can do. It really just comes down to the limits of your imagination and time to do them. So create those things, and you've got that. Aryun, the Wizzy Google form is no longer accepting responses. That's correct, because I opened that for about 5 minutes earlier, and then closed it. We had 260 responses today, but we will be doing 2 Alpha Pass giveaways per stream starting on Monday this week. That starts at 9 p.m. New York time. Convert that to your local time if you would like to do that. Otherwise, there will be more opportunities to win Alpha Passes. So check our social medias, check our Discords, keep in touch wherever you are, because we want people to be playing this Alpha. We're going to have 5,000 total Alpha Passes distributed. Okay. Currently, landowners can submit to get 1,000 of those, but 4,000 are going to go out to the community, whether you're a landowner or not. Okay. Yeah, let's see. Proxy VR says, "Where's my legs?" was on page 49 yesterday. So,
yeah, a lot of stuff got uploaded for the game jam, and some of it late. You know, the game jam entries are closed, so if you're submitting just now, it's I'm sorry, it is too late. The judges are starting to review games. I'm not seeing this
Jerry
game
G asks an important question that I'd like to answer here. It says, "Do y'all support playing live streams of music or /video? I'm a DJ and I make music and would love to throw live concerts." Jerry, yes, but not quite yet. So we have, you can actually see us working to try to introduce video into the Sandbox GameMaker for quite a while. And what we're working on right now is purely just optimization. Because for most people, if you do a live stream, you're going to want to inject like a YouTube live video in there or something like that, right? And so if you put in a YouTube live video, what we have to consider is, how does it affect the users who go into your space? Do they basically lag out because they need to use their GPU now, not just for rendering the entire experience, but also then rendering your video inside that experience? So we're building optimization into that, but certainly that's a high priority in terms of like an update that's coming to the game maker in the future, because you're definitely not the only one. You've seen some of our partners, I'm sure, and they are interested in the exact same thing. So it's a fairly high priority for us to get video injection done quickly.
Yeah, we
And
have a
again, we've
lot of
seen
music
improvement.
partners.
Yeah. Please, a question for voxel assets. Can we use voxel assets in game in the sandbox? Like, can I create an item and use it in games? So Dan's 65 YouTube, yes and no. Okay. If you create an asset inside of VoxEdit, you can use it in your games. Okay. If you create an NFT and you mint it as an item for yourself, then you would be able to use that in other games. Okay. But keep in mind that only currently artists can mint NFTs, or you would need to have your asset approved as part of, and I don't know if these are ongoing, so correct me if they're not, Alex, but the VoxEdit contests.
Yes, there's still. I don't think there's one active right now. At least if there is, I haven't heard. But we are still doing the VoxEdit contests. Andy
Okay.
Ritchie is in charge of both those and the Game Jam contests. So I keep an eye out for any announcements coming from him. And yeah, I was not. Somebody asked me to play Fast and Fearless, and I was not able to find it in the past 5-10 minutes I've been looking for it. So
Sure.
we'll take another look at that some other time. And this one is Zombie the Dead Survivor. So
Okay.
we're gonna try this out.
Skeleton
And, ooh,
Sombrero asks a question about the Game Jam, saying, I uploaded my game for the Walking Dead Game Jam on the 21st, but I saw a couple of bugs afterwards. Will I be able to republish that experience? Skeleton, the experience that you published before the timeline should be the experience that gets submitted for the Game Jam. Okay. Making edits afterwards is noticeable, and we shouldn't be doing that because that's the point of the kind of a time frame that we have to make the game. That said, generally speaking, a couple of bugs aren't going to ruin, I think, your chances for where you would have lied in terms of that, unless they're absolutely game breaking bugs that, like, we do the thing and then we can't play your game at all and have to restart it completely. That could be a souring experience. But if it's something like, you're trying to ride this invisible transport system, or as Alex showed a few minutes ago, you're driving on the top of a car, like a surfboard or something, right? And then you just fly off the car. Well, that doesn't really ruin the overall experience. It just makes it like, well, okay, you wanted it to do it differently, so you lose fractionally some fraction of a point or whatever. But our rating system kind of is a little bit more forgiving on those sorts of really basic bugs. Again, just not to be game breaking. Just started your stream today. Do you need land to create a game? No, you do not. You can make a game inside the Sandbox GameMaker right now, and you can use that for a variety of different things. First of all, as I just was talking about there, we have an ongoing game jam that just closed, but we will have one in the future. So you can use the Game Maker to make a game for our game jams. This particular game jam has a top prize of 80,000 sand tokens. All right. So let me look at what one sand is right now really quickly so I can do the quick math. 643. So you're talking about, $500,000. That's a top prize for the contest, or more, but it's more than that. But if you are creating games in the Game Maker, you can then take those games and you can also use them as potentially a portfolio, because we have a whole bunch of landowners that have, if I'm honest, probably more land than they could ever develop. A Whale Shark comes to mind when I think about that. We've got brand new partners that need help in terms of development as well. So if you have experience with this tool, it can be very useful, and you could certainly get paid to develop games in this platform. So a lot of interesting things. You see this post by Nightbot right now that says Adidas Originals has landed in the Sandbox Metaverse with a plan to build their first immersive and always-on virtual experience in a brand new 12x12 estate. So Adidas Originals comes on. They need talent to help create that. Maybe you're that talent. You make a game inside the Game Maker. You can submit to get paid by the Sandbox directly for your work, creating content for Adidas, right? And putting it in their land. So please get started. Have fun.
this is actually really cool. the way this is set up. The beginning's a little frantic and kind of I didn't really understand what was going on, but
Sure.
this is like basically tower defense.
Oh yeah.
Or like not exactly like tower defense, but something kind of like it.
Right.
So this is pretty cool, and I like how you can see your ammo above your head, so you know when you got to reload. You do have a passive reload if you don't fire too fast.
Yeah. I really like
Very,
this.
very interesting setup.
I mean, the pick, I mean, yeah, the like movement is a little bit faster than the footsteps move. So like that's, if there was a way to like slow that down and bring the stuff closer, maybe.
Yeah.
But that's just me like picking at it. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
It's the difference between like a 4.5 star, like you've innovated and done something different, and like a 5 star, like you did that plus all of the polish. Remark Jr. says, how do we make a weapon like in this game? And what I would recommend you do is you go over to Touche. You'll see Touche over on twitch.tv. You may see them come up in the chat here on this side. You follow them over on twitch.tv, or you can look for them inside of our Discord chat and ask, because they do live streams frequently. Also, Andy Ritchie, who's doing a live stream and soon. And they have done a similar mechanic out here in these games. And so you can learn all about this process because these people are really innovating in this space, and they can help you with it. So, will the Sandbox GameMaker have support for controllers? Dan's no. The GameMaker would not. Maybe soon the game client would, but the GameMaker will not, because the GameMaker is designed. I guess that's too harsh to say. The GameMaker probably may, but only when you get into the gallery like Alex is now.
Yeah. I mean,
so
in theory, you could use the editor with the controller, but it's, it's going to be
You're
just
not
kind
gonna
of
wanna
a
make your game
afterthought.
with it, right? Yeah. What you would end up doing is not making your game with the GameMaker, but rather you would just be making the game with the mouse and keyboard, because it's going to be a lot faster. And then when you get into the game client and you're playing, on our roadmap, you may have seen that we do intend to bring this to consoles, assuming that, the Nintendos and the Xbox and the PlayStations of the world are cool with crypto. We intend to bring them and make them console ready after mobile. So it's a bit later on the roadmap, but certainly controllers are going to be a big part of that. So it's just time. Currently, we don't have that, but it's just time in that regard.
I should have saved those explosive barrels.
Yes, sir. It was funny because as soon as I saw you didn't have any, I was like, this guy is on wave 2 and he's using all the explosives. You know what I mean?
I didn't know if they were going to respawn or not, so I got
That's
limited
okay,
resources.
Yeah.
But if you don't fire too fast, you can actually, you do a lot of damage if you fire quickly, but if you fire slowly, then you reload while you're firing. You can actually see the bullets kind of float back in your head, and that's just because the way it's manipulating the sword mechanic to use it as a gun. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And my guy here can fix fences, so what's this guy doing now? Yeah, what's your problem? So.
You could have cheated, Alex. You could have been a cheater.
What do you mean?
I mean, when you killed that last guy, did you start a trigger on a timer to?
No, the next wave had already started.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
before I killed him.
Sorry.
I know. I see what you mean, though.
One question. Tyler Rizzo says, will we get to keep our avatars once the alpha is over? Your avatars are not associated with the alpha necessarily. You can create them right now on sandbox.game, and they stay true when you go from experience to experience, unless the developer of the game has overridden avatars and doesn't want you to use yours because they want a cinematic experience. They could replace your avatar in that one game, but it's not gone forever, of course. It's associated with your account, so you'll go to the next game. It'll come right back. Steam Cultivator says, I think I got too audacious, and welcome, Becky, with some of the logic I started with, but it was fun testing the limits of GameMaker. Mine is called Gone Rogue on page 137. Buggy, but interesting. So if you guys are interested in checking out that game, I'm not sure if Alex is going to get through this one in time.
I'm not sure I'm going to get through this one at all.
Go check out Gone Rogue on page 137 inside the GameMaker gallery. Let's see here.
Yeah, I do have some others on the list as well. But I try to set out a tweet before we go live to try to get more submissions. Obviously, there's so much on the dashboard that I won't necessarily be able to play everything.
Yep.
I did see a question up there. Where was it? If somebody could type in the chat, somebody's asking why the stream doesn't work. It's probably because they're on iOS and they need to update their Twitch app. Twitch iOS was not working with our stream for some reason for a while, and it seems to be. I think somebody said they updated their iOS app and now it works. So it seems to be a Twitch specific issue. But I was not able to figure out what was causing that.
Thanks for doing that, by the way. Let's see here. I want to get these questions. Will you be able to write custom code in the GameMaker at some point? Razor LV over on YouTube. Yes. At some point we will be able to. What we're working on right now is the client without custom code by design, so that anybody can make a game, right? And then after that's finished, we'll be adding visual scripting first, and then going with full custom code. The only caveat being we want to make sure that a user can't inject malicious code into a game. Okay, so there's going to be some time, of course, there.
There's a helicopter overhead.
Simultaneously, we'll be releasing a mobile app, and then working towards consoles as well. So there's going to be a lot of expansion as we go over the next couple of years. And I think that custom code is going to be about a year away, if I was to guess. We don't really know, though. It depends entirely on what the community wants inside the base version of the GameMaker. So we've expanded the team to bring back like Mac OS development, and that's in the works right now on the back end, and lots of other things. So
that was super cool. I want to see more of this. It's kind of a classic genre of zombie shooters, and it was really cool to see this worked out. So great work. Loved that. Good work on the platformer game too. I didn't really get a chance to say it. The platformer game that we played right before this, that was Antivirus, anti with an A-N-T-E instead of an I, meaning like before virus, I think. That was really cool too. It was very short, but it worked well and it was fun. The one thing was when I respawned, it was all the way back at the beginning, but it only took me a few seconds to catch up to where I was, so it wasn't that bad. I would like to see that game expanded. You can build out, when you do a platformer like that, you can build out layers into the depth, and the camera, you have to space it right so the camera doesn't get messed with, but we saw that with some other platformers before. It's really cool, and let's get that out of here. For shame.
Can't believe.
All right. I think that is enough for us today. I know we've got some more requests. Keep an eye on my tweets to contact me if you're interested in having me play the game live. I love playing your games live on stream, and it helps to have some guidance because there's just so much on the dashboard, and so I want people who want to be engaged with the stream to get
Alex,
their stuff up here.
Before we go, I'm going to open up our twitch.tv. If you're viewing us live over on Twitch, then please stick with us because we are going to raid one of the people that I recommend you watch, Andy Ritchie 12, right? Andy Ritchie 12, that's his username over here on Twitch, or is it just Andy Ritchie? I can't recall.
I don't know.
So regardless, Andy is a huge member of the I'm going to teach you how to do everything cool community. So if you want to know great new things about the Sandbox GameMaker, how to make things inside the maker, learn about tricks like how to shoot a gun inside this game, we're going to be rating Andy Ritchie over on Twitch. Hopefully that works as expected. I probably have to go to my mod panel for it, but regardless, we're going to be in the when you see that be right back sort of screen, that the Sandbox logo, we're going to run over there soon. So thanks everybody for watching today. That OBJ question that I saw in the chat, ask that over on Discord, because that is possible. You can import OBJs, but it takes a little bit of work.
Yeah, you have to go through Magic of Voxel and then bring it into VoxEdit. VoxEdit doesn't support it directly.
Cool.
Magic of Voxel is free. It's great. We have integrations with Magic of Voxel in VoxEdit, so it should be pretty simple. Alrighty. Thank you everybody for watching. Joseph, are we safe to end here? Are we going right over to Joseph?
We're good to go.
All right.
All right. Have a nice day, everyone.
We'll see you Monday.
All right.